Good afternoon. So, by the way, the most asked question today was, because I'm the only guy, it seems, with a suit, was, are you from security or are you an investment banker? I'm neither nor. So, who does know TeamViewer? Oh, quite a bit. So, of the ones who know TeamViewer, did you know that TeamViewer is a German company? No? So that's interesting, because when I started with TeamViewer, some of my friends and my family said, "Oh, you're now the CEO of TeamViewer, or you joined TeamViewer, and are you running the German subsidiary?" As a matter of fact, no, we are a deeply rooted German company based out of a small town in southern Germany called Göppingen. And I wanted to start with the story of the company before I go into what the strategy is that we have and what we want to do going forward. So it's now 11 years ago that someone in Göppingen decided, and he ran a software company already, that it's too complicated to go and see every customer and show the software to the customer. So he said, hey, we need to look for a tool where you can screen share and not have to travel to your customer. And this company, Göppingen, is based out of Swabian area. You know the Swabian people, they like to save money. So they said, oh, what's available on the market is way too expensive. We need to do it on our own. So they started programming TeamViewer. Actually, they called it TeamViewer because the other company also had something with Viewer. And after they did the presentation of the software, they said, oh, nice software, but how did you share the screen? And that's how the whole thing started in 1995. And since then, it's been a success story. About 5 years later, the company got bought by a venture capital company. It was integrated into a bigger one. And then 2 years ago, Permira, who's a private equity fund, decided they need to have a look at TeamViewer. And they bought TeamViewer, and I will show you later on how much they bought for it. But what is TeamViewer all about? Our mission is really to connect everyone and everything, and that's really what we do very well. What makes us quite unique is really deliver the solution across multiple platforms. And that makes us really, really unique in the world of remote access software. And we are focusing on 4 areas. So one area, that's where we are famous for, is really helping people to help other people. I'm sure you have heard the stories that, oh, your mom or your dad has problems with his PC, and then he doesn't know how to cope with it. And typically in the past, you had to go there, help him with the software, and then you left. And with TeamViewer, we are now allowing hundreds and millions of people to do the same thing, but to do it remotely. The second part of the business we are doing is we do easy collaboration. So we decided that the tool, really sharing screen, is something that we can sell on its own. So that's the other part. The business that we are owning or earning the most from is we help IT professionals to run their internal IT, to really help the internal users to access the systems and to repair the systems. And the latest part, which is innovation and IoT, is which I want to focus on today. Because as you can imagine, as every business that you want to grow, and I'm sure that's also be the case with you once you grow, is you need to look at, this is my core business, but where are businesses that are adjacent to what I'm doing already, and where can I grow and have an even bigger total accessible market. And the IoT market is a very natural market for us to grow into, because it's also about managing something from abroad, it's managing a device, it's about getting information of the device and manipulating the device. So how big is TeamViewer in the meantime? Since 1995, the company has grown quite dramatically. First, everything was done from within Göppingen. So the whole world was served from Göppingen, and they hired all the engineers in Göppingen. We hired all the internal salespeople within Göppingen, and we had 24 hours across coverage across the globe. So even if someone was calling from India, and we had local Indian telephone numbers, the telephone rang in Göppingen. If someone called from Moscow, the telephone rang in Göppingen. And eventually that scales until a certain point, and then we had to make a choice to really think about what globalization means. So the first place you go, obviously, as a German international company, is to open an office in the Americas. Then the second one was to cover also the APAC, so we opened an office in APAC. So there's one really unique thing about us as a company, which is we now have about 600 employees, and 40% of the employees we have are, first of all, women, which I'm very proud of, and we speak over 35 languages in-house. So in this building in Göppingen, we have people with 35 language skills, which makes us also very, very unique in Germany. That's also why we are able to deliver our software in over 30 different languages, and it's quite amazing on how fast the company has expanded within the last 2 years. You might or might not have heard, but we have been sold to Premier for over $1 billion in 2014. So this was one of the very few unicorn sales that actually didn't get any notice, which is quite unique, because typically you think, wow, a company that gets sold for that amount should get a lot of press. In Germany, we didn't, which is actually something I think that needs to change, and I like that you're also engaged, and you will change that, and I hope you will change it. Since then, we were able to get over, actually the number is not actual anymore, we are now close to 400,000 paying customers. We have about 20 million downloads every month of our software, not only downloads but also installations. We have about 30 million devices that are connected at every given moment in time, every second, which are numbers that you normally only see from accounts like Facebook, WhatsApp, or other companies. And I met the number 2 of Microsoft, who's a good partner of ours, and he was blown away that every day we have about 1 million new software installations. And that's a number that even Microsoft would be proud of. So it was in October last year that we crossed a quite magic number, which is globally we now have over 1 billion installed software licenses, which again is something that is quite unique. And you think, so what's next? What are we going to do next? And what is really something we are going to focus on? And it's really about IoT. We believe that if you have 1 billion devices and you are able to manage 1 billion devices and you're able to connect 35 million devices every moment in time, you can also manage the IoT devices out there. And our infrastructure is really scalable of doing it. And the way we approach it is actually in a different way. And Gartner, the data company, they have something called the hype cycle. And if you look at the hype cycle, guess where IoT sits? Actually, this peak up there is hype. Everything else is then the valley of problems, and then you get back up to productivity. IoT is up there. So it's at its maximum peak of IoT, of hype. So why are we focusing on it? The reason we are focusing on it is because we have a solution that helps people with what we are doing to go from this hype to really productivity. And I will show you some examples on what we are doing. And one of the reasons I'm here is we're actually also looking for partners that can help us accelerating it, because it's an open ecosystem that we are doing. So in a classic IoT, what you always think of is, oh, you collect a lot of data, you put them into a database, and then you do something with it. That's what pretty much, I would say, 95% of all the IoT companies are doing. And we have a different approach. Our approach is really to not only look for the data and analyze them, but actually connect them to the devices and do something with them. And as I said, I've got a couple of examples to show you why this makes productivity today and not tomorrow. You have seen the Samsung cinema out there, the augmented reality glasses. There's another market that is currently getting established, which is the smart glass market, which was pioneered by Google with Google Glasses. And there are now two handful of companies that are really trying to make something special there. We have contacted all of them and tried to work with really all of them, and we got now a handful of them working with us. And what we are doing, we are taking the team for your client, we put it onto the Google Glasses, or the glasses, sorry, and we enable something really magic there. We allow people in a remote office or in a remote place to go and log into these smart glasses and see exactly what the guy is seeing. And therefore, you can imagine a lot of scenarios out there. We have companies like insurance companies. They have people walk around buildings and seeing where there are problems at the building. You can really save the pictures, you can save the video stream, and it's very helpful in the area of insurance. We have also installations where customers are using it for actual work in some remote places where you don't have the educated people or the ones that are very knowledgeable about what you're doing. And so someone in the remote office that has the knowledge can really remote into the glasses, sees exactly what the guy is doing, and even can put some his screen to the guy, and so that the guy can see exactly what the person in the remote office can see. We are getting a lot of press around this, and this is something where we will focus on, because I believe it's one of the future trends that will happen once the glasses are getting cheaper and cheaper. The second example I want to show is around something that I'm sure all of you have experienced when you go shopping or you go into a restaurant chain. We got multiple deals, but I wanted to focus on one of the biggest food chain companies on earth. I'm not allowed to say who the company is. But this company has about 33,000 point of sales out there. And it's a company that is based on franchisees. So each franchise taker has about 3 to 5 shops. So what has he done in the past? In the past, he went to the shop, from shop to shop. He went to the point of sales. He opened each single point of sales in the morning. Then in the evening, he went back and closed the point of sales in the evening. When there was a problem with the point of sales, he had to go there and fix it or pick up the telephone. Now, what he can do is he's able to remote into it. It's installed on the point of sales. He can remote into the point of sales from wherever he is. He can open the point of sales in the morning. He can close it in the evening. And when there's a problem, he remotes in and fixes it for the guy. And we see a lot of these use cases, and we see a lot of software companies that want to work with us, and we are very happy to work with them, and also you in these circumstances, to get our software integrated, because it helps you to accelerate into what we call the IoT age of IT. A third example, and I could go on with these examples, is a different field, and it's in the field of agricultural software and agricultural devices. There's an American company, and by the way, we have some more of these type of companies. It's called Trimble. And what Trimble is doing is they deliver software and GPS-based control devices, where if you have a car, a tractor, or something else to seed or to to cut wheat, it's controlled by this GPS device. And in the past, if they had a problem, they had to stop, they had to call people, and then someone fixed it. Or if they wanted to optimize the path of the GPS, they had to go back to the farm, they had to change the software, and then they could continue with it. Now, this tractor can be controlled from remote, from this guy with TeamViewer, which is a completely different way of doing business. And these are the kind of use cases that we are seeing on. And we believe that every time when you have someone involved, or when you have manual interaction involved, someone needs to call someone in order to fix something, I believe that's a typical case where TeamViewer will be in place and TeamViewer will be installed and used. So, what is IoT and what are we trying to do with IoT? So first of all, we believe that the digital transformation is really changing the way everyone in the IT is going to deliver the service going forward. And as you heard in the morning, IoT is going to change the entire industry, and whenever something can be digitalized, it will be digitalized. And I think we want to be and will be in front of this trend. And secondly, IoT can really generate new business cases that you probably have not thought of, especially when you are located in one place, but you want to grow globally. Integrating with TeamViewer can be a solution that is used already by customers, but is very viable also going forward. So our belief is, and that's where we are heading towards, the market of IoT has about 10 times more devices than the traditional PC and smartphone and tablet market. And we believe that by bringing a solution of remoting into something, this is the next market we are going to attract. And I do believe it's going to be bigger than anything we have done before. So thank you. And I hope you get a quick and a small overview on where we came from and where we want to move in. And I hope it helped you understand what we're doing. And maybe there's a chance to collaborate. So if you have time, please come and see me. Thank you.